Welcome to Living Vividly, the podcast where health, wellness, and curiosity collide. I'm Jackie, the founder of Vivid Health and Wellness, your guide on this journey to living your happiest and healthiest life.
My co-host Daphne, the unconventional dietitian, is always ready to shake things up and bring a fresh perspective to your wellness journey. And we can't forget Dustin, our producer, who keeps everything running smoothly behind the scenes. Together, we'll chat with health and wellness experts along with everyday people who have inspiring stories and practical insights to share. If you're ready to nourish your body, move better, and discover simple ways to thrive, you're in the right place. And hey, if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to leave us a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Today we're joined by Lissee Spiller. She is a certified sound healing facilitator.
So we were just treated to a nice little sound bath, and you guys are going to get that at the end. I'm feeling very calm and grounded.
Well, good.
Yeah. What got you into sound healing? Of all the different modalities to, settle down the nervous system, what is it about sound that drew you to it?
It just kind of evolved. I experienced it, and I'm a massage therapist. I have trained yoga teacher. I've done it all, and not all, but pretty much all. And I had experienced sound healing back in the 90s, and just felt in my body, and it just felt good. And fast forward, Fran Clark was here in Lafayette, and she was teaching sound healing classes with her Tibetan bowls, and called me up and said, you need to take this class. It's my last one. I'm moving to Portugal. So I took the class, and I had already experienced sound with her on her sound table and in her sound baths, and just fell in love with it after that. Because it made such a difference in my life. It was a way that I could empower myself to calm my nervous system down, which I didn't even know that's what I was doing at the time. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. I just knew it felt good. Mm-hmm. And I knew it quieted my monkey mind, but I didn't know any of the science behind it. So I took the class and kept that knowledge for myself and just played for me. And then fast forward again, August 2020, I get a phone call from another practitioner, but she's actually a physical therapist, and she and I both studied with Fran. And she said, I want you to come. People need this. And I want you to come to my studio, and I want you to play. And I said, I can't do that. And she's like, yes, you can. And I did. And people loved it. And I could just see the difference in their bodies and in their eyes. And I was hooked. And so then I started doing the research and knew I needed more training. And Fran helped me to find the people I trained with in the year-long program. And then I found Geraldine Glass with the alchemy crystal bowls. And once I found those alchemy crystal bowls, for me, it resonated with my body. And I just took all those classes. In fact, I'm going back in November to take another class, a deeper class with the bowls, with the alchemy bowls. And just started playing and started seeing the difference it was making in people's lives with quieting the monkey mind, with pain relief, with them getting off the table and saying, my back doesn't hurt anymore. And I'm not saying it's gone all the time, mm-hmm. but it's definitely gone for several days. And then I started researching the science behind it and how their sound has been around for thousands upon thousands of years, like probably over 4,000 years.
You mean in like the modality of healing and community, bringing people together and that sort of thing?
Correct. There were sound healing chambers in the Egyptian, in the pyramids, and they're still there to this day, where you have to be ranking high up and be scientist and be able to make appointments to go in, and you can bring your instruments, your recording instruments, and play in there. And because they knew back then that was the only medicine they had, mm-hmm. was sound. And the Aborigines had what they call the didgeridoo, and each culture has its own instrument that they use to make music and for sound healing. And so it started so long ago, and then we forgot. Mm-hmm. And it's not about using this instead of, it's an adjunct to what we already know. And now they're putting the science behind it. The Mayo Clinic uses it. Cleveland Clinic uses it. I play for the cancer survivorship program up in Shreveport for LSU. And it's just been phenomenal to see these people. I mean, when they finish, it's like, I mean, I have lots of stories. I won't go into them, but of just how much it's helped people.
Is that for pain management or healing?
All
of it.
And healing, it's a touchy term. Yes. Because healing, it used to be healing meant you had no ailments.
Right.
And everything was great.
Right.
But I've come to learn that there's layers of healing. And to me, if you can leave a sound immersion and have more of a response to life instead of a reaction to life, that's a healing. So, it's challenging for me to use that word, because yes, the pain's gone, but sometimes it comes back,
right? Because
we are vibrational beings, and we have these vibrational patterns that go through our bodies, and sometimes it reverts back, and sometimes not.
When you're doing a sound immersion, or do you call it immersion or healing?
I call it a sound immersion because go ahead, ask your question.
So when you're doing a sound immersion, what does that normally look like? How many people are in the room? Is there a particular size room that you like? Are people laying down, sitting up? Like, what is it? Walk us through. Yeah, paint the picture of what a sound immersion visually looks like.
Okay. So it can be anywhere from one person to, depending on the size of the room, 25, 30, even more. It depends on the size of the room.
Okay.
And it depends on the acoustics of the room. And then, so if you're going to do one, because you can be laying down, you can be sitting down. Again, it depends on the room. It depends on what the people can do. When I go
never
up to
standing up.
Never standing up. I will say that. Thank you for adding that. Never standing up. Because I don't think we're not horses. We can't lock our joints and relax. So when I go up to Shreveport, these people can't get up off the floor. So they sit in chairs. Okay. So it just depends. So let's go with people laying on the floor. Okay. So you would come dressed very comfortably. And you either would bring your own eye pillow, or I would provide you with an eye pillow. And you would find a comfortable spot. You would bring pillows and blankets just to make a cozy nest for yourself. And you would get comfortable on the floor on a yoga mat. Some people bring up those roll-up camping mats, and they'll put blankets on top of them. So it just depends. And then your body temperature will drop like in a massage. And this is a sound meditation. I call it a sound immersion, but it's really a sound meditation because it calms the brain. So you would be laying down comfortably, and the eye pillow on your eyes signals to the brain, the pressure signals to the brain, it's okay to calm down. It's safe. And you would get comfortable. And then I would lead you in, I would talk a little bit. And I also like to give people, when I play, they're not all the same. All sound bands are not the same. When I like to give people something that they can take home and use. And so I'm really big on teaching people to hum and telling them about the benefits of humming. So we would do some humming. And I'm also really big on using the breath. And so we would do a little bit of just breath work and breathing. And
Is whistling a combination of those two things?
That's a little too high pitched.
Okay.
So I would not suggest whistling.
Interesting.
It would be more humming because what happens in the whistling, you're just blowing air out. When you're humming, you're creating vibration across the vocal cords, which translates into the body, which signals to the nervous system that it can slow down. So
humming, I know, is one of the things that we'll do for people that have vagus nerve paralysis, the humming, because it creates that vibration right on that vagus nerve.
Yes. Okay. I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense. I have something called a Shruti box, which is an Indian instrument for chanting. And here in the West, people are like, oh, I can't sing. Oh no, I can't hum. What's this person doing? So I just play the Shruti box, and it's just a droning tone that covers up everyone humming. And so I give people the opportunity to feel that in their body. Like I'm sure with your patients, once they feel that, it's like, oh, so we'll do a little bit of humming, a little bit of breath. I'll play. And then I will invite you to just enjoy the sound journey.
Okay.
And before I send you off on the sound journey, I will tell you that at the end, I always allow several minutes of what your body perceives or your ears perceive as silence, but it's really not silence. Because even though our ears can't hear it, the cells in our body, the hair on our arms can still pick up the frequencies and they're still in the room. So that's an integration time to just kind of come back. And then I have some Koshi chimes that not Koshi, but I have some other chimes, Zephyr chimes that I ring and slowly walk you back. And I may do stretching at the beginning. No experience is necessary or required. Mm-hmm. It's just to open the body up. Kind of like, that's why a lot of people do yoga first and then sound, because it allows the body to relax and to stretch the muscles and get the blood going and the energy moving through the nervous system, but in a calmer way using the breath. So at the end, we may stretch and just kind of come back, and I make sure everyone's grounded, and then they can stay and talk or whatever. And
so it's a very personal experience.
Yes, it is. And each one will always be different, even if you come on a regular basis, because we're vibrational beings. And so we're never the same. And so they talk about how each one is going to be different.
And also the bowls that you're using. So you mentioned the alchemy bowls versus the Tibetan bowls. The bowls are different, and they're going to have different vibrations and different pitches. So your experience in each sound bath, whether you're using one or the other, that would be totally different.
Correct. And I'd like to add here, this is a good time to put this in there. Different people vibrate with different instruments. So you may go to a sound bath or sound immersion with, say, just gongs or just Tibetan bowls, and it doesn't resonate with you. It's like nails on a chalkboard. There's nothing wrong. That's not a frequency that resonates with you. It's not the practitioner. It's not you. It's just not for you. Mm-hmm. And so, I like to tell people that. And the other thing is circling back to when I do a sound immersion, I do play the alchemy bowls, and they can be very, very powerful. So I always go back with other instruments, maybe an ocean drum, other instruments that are going to have a different pitch, a different frequency, a different sound. Sometimes I used to use a big frame drum sometimes. And I use a chime, and I walk around the room so that I don't put any bowl in your body, but that is part of my sound immersion.
Corinthian bells, wind chimes are like my favorite thing in the world. Mm-hmm. And I like the really deep ones that are just gongy, I guess.
Are those like really big ones? Like the big, like poles almost that are?
Yes. Yeah. Your alchemy bowls sounded very similar to that. And any high pitched sounds hurts my brain. I don't know. Are all Tibetan bowls higher pitched, or are they all over the place?
They're all over the place. Because it depends on how many metals, because Tibetan bowls are made with several different metals, and how much of the tin is in there, and how much of the brass, and so they're going to be all over the place. So it's to find what works for you.
Do you have tinnitus? Okay.
I don't know.
Sound healing is very good for that. I've had people that have come to me that have had ringing in their ears and have had problems, and I've just played and worked with them, and they've said it's gone.
That's awesome.
And I'm not saying that's going to be the same for everybody, but because there's actually, and I'm going to have to look at the research that Geraldine interviewed somebody out of California, like this doctor plus professor and he is like this master of cochlear implants. And so he understands sound in the ears and such, and he explained it, which I didn't really get. I'd have to go back and study how and why it happens with the frequencies, with the ears, to allow them to kind of reset themselves.
So is the whole point generally nervous system regulation or nervous system calming? Is that why someone would go?
That would be one reason. Another reason would be pain relief. Okay. And another reason would be just to be still, because we're always on the go. And this is an opportunity. I tell people it's a gift they give themselves to just be still.
I think that's what I liked about when we did it earlier. and those 10 minutes flew by, but we're never really still. And like it was something we elected to do, and like the sound just let us
being
be
present.
okay.
Lets you be present.
Right. You agreed to that, and you just allowed yourself to be able to be still. And that is such a different way than we're used to living. Mm-hmm. We're used to living up here in the brain, and this allows you to just go into the body. And the body has so much information for us if we can just tune in. And this allows us to tune in.
So you've mentioned a couple of times that we are vibrational beings. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Science has proven that every cell in our body vibrates. And what happens is we have electricity running through our body, and the electricity ignites the cells and it makes patterns. And then that's when we get blockages. That's when we get pain and disease and such. And so by going into a sound immersion, we create, when I play, I create what's called a dissonance, which kind of alters like whatever your pattern and your movement is, it alters it. And then I come back with other frequencies that are calming, and then they can realign. And so everything vibrates. The sofa you're sitting on is vibrating. It's just more compressed. Does that answer your question, or did you want me to elaborate?
So is it the fluid in our body, like the water in our body, that is actually vibrating, or our actual cells are vibrating?
Our actual cells are vibrating.
Okay.
John Stewart Reed has something called a cymoscope, and it's sound made visible. And so what he does with the cymoscope is, in a nutshell, is he puts water on a slide and he puts a microscope over it. And then you can play different bowls, and the cells within the water vibrate. And we're mostly water. So our cells are vibrating. And then the vibration creates a way to rebalance. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our body is always wanting to get back to a state of homeostasis where it's balanced.
Exactly. And this creates the opportunity and the opening for that to happen. Because it goes beyond words. And so when we're not using the brain, we can truly relax. And that's part of the sound immersion is the brain waves, and we live in a beta state, and go.
Yeah, I feel like today versus 4,000 years ago when things were simpler and we were outside more, we live inside these walls with electricity and the Wi-Fi, and all these bad vibrations are surrounding us, and that's just probably wreaking havoc on our systems, just being around all the other frequencies. And this is such a good way to quiet that. Have you ever done sound baths outside?
I have. And it's great because you've got the wind will be blowing, the birds will add something. And yes, it's a wonderful way to reconnect with the earth and the electrical energy coming up from the earth. Mm-hmm. So yes.
Yeah, this is reminding me of like grounding in the morning and all those, everything that we talk about, it's all vibration.
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit more about the bowls that you use. So you mentioned the Tibetan bowls are all metal, and there are different types of metals and different...
Yeah, like brass and tin and just other aluminum, and how much of each metal is in the bowl makes a difference.
But your bowls are made of what?
My bowls are made of alchemy. They're called alchemy crystal quartz bowls.
Okay.
And it's quartz crystal that's mined in either North or South Carolina. It's like 99.999% pure quartz. And then they're at Crystal Tones is the brand I use. And there are other brands out there. I just can't speak to the quality or anything. But I use Crystal Tones, and then they take that quartz and they infuse it with gemstones and minerals of the earth. So like amethyst, rose quartz, iron oxide from Sedona, platinum, just different metals. And what happens is the properties of that, like if it be amethyst, the properties of amethyst are magnified by the quartz. And that is what these bowls are about. They're different than regular quartz crystal bowls, and I by no means am trying to say that they are better, because they are not.
Right.
All these bowls are going to resonate in a different way with different people. It's just what resonates with me.
And so they produce each each component produces a different sound or a different
When you say
grade?
component, what?
Like the amethyst or the
Yes.
platinum?
They're going to have a different sound.
Okay.
Yes, and a different frequency. And so I'll say here, so these bowls, the alchemy crystal bowls, are only 25 or 30 years old, and they were discovered by accident in Silicon Valley, where they had regular quartz crystal bowls that they were using as the crucible. I think that's the crucible to make silicone chips for computers and such. And that's what they would fire them in. And then somebody discovered that if you rem them and tap them, they make sounds.
Oh, wow.
And so sound healing was already around, but they discovered it. And then they discovered they could add the different minerals to it. And then they discovered that they could, they don't go in and say, this is going to be an F sharp. Mm-hmm. They make the bowl and then they say, what note is it? And so that they had different notes with the bowls.
Did you have any music background prior to doing this? Because when you start talking about different notes, I'm out. I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, like, when you're getting started, so my husband plays different instruments, so he can read music, but it's a totally foreign language to me. Mm-hmm. So when you got started, I was just wondering if you had any kind of music background where, like, sang in the choir or anything like that, where you could do any of that.
Nothing. I play intuitively. So I would just strike a bowl, and if it felt right, I'd go with it. And if it didn't feel right, I wouldn't play it. I'd combine it in a different way.
Okay.
So no, I have no musical. Well, I mean, I've learned, but no, I did not have any.
Music background.
I did not at all.
Interesting.
And that's what makes it so accessible for everybody, because people say, what kind of bowl do I get? And what should I do? And I can't tell you, because everybody vibrates differently. You need to do some research and go places where you can, does this rain stick sound good or not? Mm-hmm. Does this Tibetan bowl sound good or not? To find what your own alchemy is and what's going to vibrate with you. But you don't have to have any kind of background other than that. It feels good and it calms me down. Yeah. That's the important thing.
So even when you're playing, do you just kind of play by intuition, or do you have a pattern that you like to play?
It's a little of both. There is, as I have learned, there is a certain structure when you play that benefits the participants. So I will follow the structure, meaning I'm not going to play a C note and a D note too long, because that's going to create too much of a dissonance. But I learned that along the way. And I'm going to go back with what they call perfect fourth and perfect fifths, which I didn't know what that was either. That's a C note and a G note, or a C note and an F note, or a D and an A. And anyway, to bring back the balance. Mm-hmm. And so I just go with what feels like I should do. But keeping in mind the structure, some of the structure. But I don't go in, now's my time to play this note and this note. Yeah. I don't do that.
So you have an event coming up with my mother-in-law, Jan Hedich, where you're going to combine Reiki and sound healing.
Correct.
That's going to be a vibrational, I don't even know.
That's crazy.
Party.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
I'm really looking forward to collaborating with her. So I really, she's got such a good energy. And
she does.
So yes.
That's October 23rd.
It's the Sunday. Is it the 22nd, 23rd, 24th? The last Sunday in October.
Okay.
So if you want to take the best nap ever. That's what it feels just like. If you want to be healed by sound and energy and
just go to another plane, basically.
And really, it's so often people say, I saw all these colors and where did I go? It was dark and the colors were swirling, and it's just where the frequencies. It's not woo woo. It's just what happens when our brain calms down to the alpha state or the theta state. You're still aware. You're still there. You're not like off in la la land and you have no idea where you are. You're still there and aware. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your body can just rebalance. And I want to say about that we're letting people know they don't have to partake of Reiki if they don't want to, but the sound will be in the room.
Yeah. So. If you're there, you're participating in the sound.
Yes.
So it sounds like that's in general, a sound immersion is an experience that we don't experience with our eyes.
Absolutely.
Because so much of what if you are capable of seeing, then so much of what we experience has a visual aspect to it, where this is a totally different type of experience because your vision is taken out of it. It's experiencing life in a totally different way.
Exactly. Because what happens is we see it and then our brain catalogs it and categorizes it and puts it in a nice, neat little box. And then there's limitations. But when the eyes are closed and you just tune into the body and what do you feel, it allows us to come back to our center and to that quiet, peaceful place that really is there, but we forget. And that's part of the being able to lay down and really experience.
A lot of people will say that they can't do meditation. Like they have a hard time being able to experience calmness during meditation because it's so hard to shut off the monkey brain. And even closing your eyes, you're not visually seeing things, but the brain has already categorized things in a certain way. And so even when we hear something, we're kind of experiencing maybe an expectation. I'm just saying what I think is happening. So we hear something. So for someone's doing maybe like a guided meditation, you're hearing it. And what you're hearing, you've already somewhat experienced in some kind of way. So if it's like ocean waves, you've already experienced that. So visually, you take yourself to a place where you've heard that before. Where I feel like with this sound immersion, it's a totally different sound pitch or frequency. I'm still not 100% sure with the language, but it's a totally different thing that we don't hear often. And so it really would allow your brain to take you to a place where you've never been before. Like you've never visually seen it. So you are creating a whole new experience with the sound.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's part of why there's no time in it because you're not waiting for something. You just know this is it. There's no surprises really. You're just immersing yourself in it. And like with the guided meditations, you're waiting for the next cue or waiting for something to happen. And it's just like with this, you're like, this is it. So just focus on, don't focus even.
Don't even just receive.
Yeah.
That's all that's required. There's nothing required except to just lay there and receive.
I think this is a good way to, like, if you add sound bathing or sound immersion to a meditation, because I also have trouble quieting my brain when it's just silent. I just want to meditate, like focus on the breath. I can't do that. It's really hard for my brain to quiet down. But whenever the bowls are happening, I can just focus on that, quiet down everything else. And it gives me something to focus on that's not my thoughts.
And chewing gum for the brain.
It is a journey. I mean, it takes you somewhere.
Yes.
It's taking you away from that monkey brain.
God, so it's feel all the vibrations. It's
the brain waves shift, and they calm down. And that so the monkey doesn't have any place to hop anymore.
Monkey goes to sleep.
So before we were recording, you said something about binaural
frequency.
Stimulations frequency.
Really, to hear binaural beats, you need headphones. And we don't have headphones in this. So we call them, in sound immersion, we call them binaural frequencies.
So what does binaural mean?
Binaural beats are an auditory illusion where your brain perceives a third tone when presented with two different frequencies, one in each ear.
Okay.
These beats are used in music and ambient sounds with the goal of affecting brainwave frequencies, with proponents claiming benefits like reduced anxiety, improved focus, and enhanced sleep. So two different frequencies. A sound wave of a specific frequency is sent to one ear. A different but similar frequency is sent to the other ear. Your brain interprets the difference between the two tones as a new perceived beat frequency.
So it slows your brain down, is what you were saying.
So if you play 40 hertz in this ear, and then you play, let's say 40 and let's say 60 in this one, and the brain says, oh, okay, we're going to combine these two, and you subtract the two numbers and you have 20 hertz, which is low. And then it makes its own, it just makes a totally different frequency, which allows the brain waves to slow down.
So you talked about alpha waves and theta waves. Can you explain what those are?
Okay, so we've got different brain waves. So beta is where it's a kind of a go, go, go. And then the next would be alpha, where you kind of relaxed and, just kind of calm. And then theta is where you're very relaxed. You're aware of what's going on around you, but you don't have to even respond to it. And then delta is going to be a deep sleep. And then I think there's another one that's an even deeper sleep, but we pretty much live in beta. Can get to theta sometimes if like an artist is really, or if you're doing something, you're really, really focused on that. The alpha again is a little bit deeper. And so that just, the brain waves slow down. And when the brain waves slow down, that happens to, that tells the nervous system, I can slow down. I can breathe deeper. Oh, my heart rate's lower now because I'm breathing deeper. Oh, my muscles. Oh my gosh, they're relaxing. As you go deeper with the brain waves, it signals the nervous system and allows it to calm down more.
Your whole body can heal and relax whenever you're not so strong.
Exactly. And you can move through life in a totally different way that is in the flow and allowing, as opposed to, I got to make this happen and I got to do this and then, I got to get over here, versus, oh, okay. And it's going to come to you. I have a story that I tell that I used to play sound immersions regularly at Lafayette Salt Cave. And so this person came in and she had never been to a sound immersion before. So she comes and okay. And then, she comes to another one and somebody else is there and she sits up and she says, wow, I don't think I've ever been able to breathe this deep in my life. This just really feels good. And the first person, that this was her second one, says, yeah, the last time I came, when I left, somebody pulled out in front of me and I didn't even curse at him and I didn't mind. and it's like, I thought, okay, I have to use this one because it's just shows you how sound can just help us to respond to life instead of react. We were not meant to live the life, the craziness and we have all these, I do it too, but that's not how we're meant to
we're not
be.
supposed to stay there.
We're not
we're
supposed to
kind of have this up and down where we get there and then we come back down to theta. And then, we should be living in all of those different brain waves. But we tend to live just more in that beta where we're, I don't know if high strung is the right word. I think that it's fitting, but we're vibrating so much higher and faster for so much longer that we lose the ability to come down. Correct. More frequently.
And when we lose that ability, to what you're saying, Jackie, when we lose that ability, our body can't come into balance. And then we have adrenal fatigue. And then we've got, breathing from the top of the lungs. And, there's just, and our bodies, it wants to balance and it wants to create a feeling of peace and calm. And when we can come from the peace and the calm, it's a totally different way to live, totally different way to live. And it sure would be nice to live there all the time. But
I think it would be nice to just live there some of the time.
And, that's true.
Start with some of the time because I'm not living there right now.
And there is the balance because sometimes you need that action and you need that go and you need that adrenaline to, you're not running from tigers, but you need to get things done. But when there's the balance like that, it just creates a whole different way of moving through the world, a much softer way. A more balance between, we all have masculine and feminine, but just a softer way.
I think
to move.
Also, you probably would be more productive if you were able to experience all of the different levels. Whenever you are intended to be on, then you would fully be able to be on and then be able to bring yourself down. Just like, we talk a lot about sitting at a workspace, doing work that we can only really productively work for a short period of time. And then we have to take a break so that our brain can have a break. I don't know what other way to say that. Just have a rest.
Just a rest.
So a lot of times, and I've said before that I'll do what I call mental health walks, where whenever I need to just take a break, I'll just make a lap around the building. And just a brain break is another way that I'll say it. But so I would imagine if we're always living in that beta state where our efficiency is less productive than if we have the ability to flow in and out of the higher states and the lower states. We could be more efficient if we took the time. imagine, and I would say this for myself, that taking the time to pause and allow for a practice like this, I just don't have time, is what I would tell myself. The reality is that if I took the time to do it, then the time that I need to be productive would be much more effective and efficient because I've been able to move through both states.
Exactly. It's up to us to learn what's going to help us to reset, take the brain break. What do I need? Sound is one. Walking in nature's another. Taking your walk around the building just to get outside. And it's up to us to know what works and resonates with us the best. Mm-hmm. And it's to recognize, I'm learning the more I'm studying this, it's not just I'm going to meditate in the morning and then I'm good for the day.
Right.
No, it's throughout the day. And you can be so much more efficient. We can. I mean, I know, and get so much more done when there is that relax. But it's up to us to find that relax that's going to work for us.
Yeah, it takes some serious discipline. I mean, I consider myself to be a disciplined person, but this is like next level discipline that I need to practice, I think.
Yeah, it's subconscious. Jan always talks about mindful meditation, where it's not just meditation, you're taking an hour and in a closet, it's all day while you're interacting with people, while there's traffic, while you're doing dishes, and it really helps bring down your stress levels and helps you become more present in the everyday.
Yes. And that's what it's about. It's about being fully present in the moment, whatever that looks like. Even if you're chopping vegetables, it's like, you're not like, okay, well, as soon as I chop these vegetables, I got to, no, I'm chopping vegetables. Chop wood, carry water. I'm sure y'all have heard that one. It's something to the effect of, what does the enlightened man do? Like he's chopping wood and carrying water. And after he's enlightened, what does he do? He chops wood and he carries water. You just do it with a different mindset and just do it differently.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So has anybody came to you constipated and left no longer constipated? Can sound do that?
Sound can do that. I have no idea. No one's ever shared that with me.
Dang.
If you think about it logically, it relaxes the muscles.
That's what I'm thinking.
It relaxes the nervous system if you can allow yourself to completely relax. So I would say that, but I've never.
So you can't say for sure.
I cannot.
Okay.
I cannot speak to that. I can speak to pain relief, and I can speak to different other things, but not that particular topic.
Well, please let us know if you ever do hear from somebody.
I will. If someone shares that with me, I will be sure to let you know.
I would imagine, like you said, that because it allows the muscles to relax, that it would definitely help. But unless you're doing some kind of before and after like questionnaire, people probably aren't willing to volunteer that.
I would love just to do, and my teacher talks about some people that are doing things like that with mind chatter and with anxiety. And, people have been able to, lower their blood pressure with medical, lower blood pressure, go off blood pressure medicine and things like that.
See, that's cool. That's the stuff I want to know. Like, what can be tested?
Yeah. So do you know how the Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic are using sound bath? Like, I would imagine they're measuring something.
They are. And I haven't, it's challenging because the studies they have to take so long. Mm-hmm. So the only ones I've seen are with anxiety and with cancer patients with their pain relief.
Okay.
And those are the ones I've seen, but they've been the anecdotal ones.
They're using Reiki as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and those are two things that can't be tested or measured other than tell me how you feel.
Self-reported.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why like the blood pressure thing is really cool to me because you can actually test it before and after, or that's why the constipation
and they have done that in Cleveland Clinic.
Well, it's almost like the placebo effect.
Yes.
They can test the efficacy of pain meds versus a placebo versus pain meds versus just sound.
Yeah.
And they have done that. And maybe it was Cleveland Clinic or Mayo that have done that and have been able to help people lower or go off their pain meds. But again, it goes back to Daphne, what you're saying. If you're part of a study, it's different because it's like, okay, you have to show up on these days and this is what we're doing versus someone that says, oh, my back pain has left. Well, sometimes I don't see them again.
Right.
So I don't know.
They have to make the intentional choice to continue to use it as part of their therapy.
Yes.
Or if it just went away forever.
Yeah.
If you don't see them again, you never know.
I don't know. Yeah.
How often would you recommend doing some kind of sound immersion?
24/7.
We have to go up and down. Up and down.
Can't live there. Yeah, true. Again, that's going to be an individual thing because sometimes if you get too much of the sound, you're just so relaxed. You don't have that. You don't take any action.
Straight into a coma.
It doesn't matter. So I can't speak to that.
So kind of the more stressed, high strung, going you are, the more
you need a balance.
You need more. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because maybe one sound bath a month will be because this is you just made me realize something. So it becomes a talisman for meaning that you can recall what your body felt like. If you do enough sound immersions, you can be still and breathe and go back to, it's not going to be the exact same state.
Right.
But it will lower your cortisol. It will lower your breath. It will, because your body has all this information and your body remembers.
It's like a muscle memory thing.
Exactly.
So once you experience
you're bringing it up again.
Yeah, your brain's able to re-experience it whenever you have the initial experience.
Exactly. Because our brains don't know what they don't know. So, I mean, I try to tell people, it's like, y'all experienced a sound bath. How would you explain that to somebody? I mean, it's experiential.
Right. It's very individual.
It's experiential. But once the body gets it and once it experiences it, you can go back to that.
And we were just talking a couple of days ago. We're building a wellness program, and the more often you're calm in a calm environment, the easier it is to be calm in a not calm environment.
Absolutely.
And it just kind of helps you manage.
Absolutely.
You can kind of sing both sides of it. Whenever you can recognize that you're capable of being calm and this is what it feels like, then when things are chaos, if you want to, you can recall on that calm experience and your body has the recognition of it.
Absolutely. And I think that's where we're being called, because we've lived so long in this beta and get things done, and let me get the fields plowed, and let me get the cows milked, and let me, and now it's like, okay, wait a minute. We can live differently, and we can recall that, and then we can be different humans, and we can show up different for our families, our communities, in ways that we didn't even know we could until we had experienced exactly what you just said, Daphne, the sound, and then you can go back to it. And being in a calm environment, we can't always be there, but we can go back to there when it does get chaotic. And not, because emotions are just energy in motion. That's another whole topic. But anyway, yes, you're
Episode
right.
2.
I'm going to stop that.
Before we get into the sound bath that we're going to let everyone enjoy, we ask all of our guests one very important question, and it's, what does living vividly mean to you?
It means living in the full spectrum of life. We can live in the grayscale and the chaotic, go, 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 or we can embrace it all. We can embrace the joys, the sadness, the uncomfortableness, the comfortableness, but with presence and with just the awe. That's my word this year, is awe, the awness of life, when we stop to really listen to the birds or the chimes or whatever. And to me, that's living vividly, because you're present and you're taking it in, you're allowing it in, and you're connecting the head with the heart and just allowing it to flow through. Hi, welcome to a little 10-minute mini sound bath to reset your nervous system. Make sure you're not driving, that you're seated or laying in a comfortable position, and just enjoy the frequencies. Slowly bring your awareness back to this moment. Thank you for joining us. Have a peaceful rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Living Vividly. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. For more resources and details from today's discussion, check out the show notes. Until next time, keep living vividly.